Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be looking at an opinion piece from MarketWatch written by Brett Arends. Okay, the assault on Social Security is underway. Pandemic panic is the perfect cover for gutting the program. Okay, this is what's funny. This program is going to be insolvent. Gen Xers, we were told that we shouldn't expect Social Security because it's going to go bankrupt. And a lot of Gen Xers planned accordingly. But because you have entitled millennial fuckwits that think that they should just get free handouts, they think that Social Security is going to cover their shit. And you have this fact that you have some boomers that got fucked by the Clinton fucking policies and shit, that got fucked out of their careers, got fucked out of their lives, got screwed over, got screwed out of their pensions, okay, because of Bill Clinton, that are stuck relying more heavily on Social Security. Let's scare those boomers. But let's also lie about the fact of what Bill Clinton did, because that's what this asshole does. He tries to make it sound like Bill Clinton had a booming fucking economy and there was higher taxes which could pay for the difference. Ignores the fact that the Democrats, don't get me wrong, the Democrats and Republicans did raid Social Security, but the Democrats did it way more than the Republicans did. They fucking raped it. They anally raped it for every penny they could. They're the ones who created this insolvency problem because they actually had a surplus and went, in my lifetime, they rated it. They rated it more than that, too. Like multiple times, I think, in my lifetime. At least 2 times, maybe more. And when they rated it, they went, oh, well, Social Security has a surplus. Why? Because at the time, you had more people that had paid in that didn't live nearly as long. Okay, like the greatest generation, the generation before them. Okay, they paid into Social Security. A lot of them didn't get to collect that money, and they were having more children, so you had more people, up until the point of like the baby boom, post-baby boom, you had more and more people. It's a pyramid scheme, so you had more people paying in, but a lot of people didn't collect. So you had this surplus. And the Democrats, don't get me wrong, Republicans were involved in it too, but the Democrats overwhelmingly were behind it. They raided Social Security. They're the ones who made it fucking insolvent by raiding something they had no legal right to take a fucking dime from, because you know what? We all pay into Social Security, okay? The money we pay in reflects back what we get paid out, all right? So basically, when they expanded Social Security for things like Section 8 and shit like that, they put a burden on it that shouldn't be there. And they rated it. And they wonder why old people are fucked. And then they basically are trying to go, well, you need to vote Democrat. This is kind of like a scare people away from Trump fucking thing. That's what this is. Because, Trump and the evil Republicans are going to raid Social Security. Let's ignore the fact that it's in the situation that it is because Democrats are overwhelmingly behind all the previous raids on it. Don't get me wrong, Republicans were involved. But the Democrats overwhelmingly raided Social Security prior to this point. And they're not trying to raid Social Security. They're trying to deal with it being fucked financially. Anyway, let's get into this Shitbricks article here. Fucking Brett. When I was growing up, Social Security used to be called the third rail of American politics because it threatened to kill the career of any politician who dared touch it. Yeah, and then what happened? You dumb shit. Let's see. My generation was told that Social Security is going to be bankrupt, and we went, okay, and we made arrangements for ourselves. Or at least the smart ones did, more so than the boomer generation. They got their retirement straight. They also knew that they weren't going to get pensions and shit like that. So my generation, being the nihilist fucks that we are, said, well, then fuck you then. We were like Bender from the first episode. Okay, or second episode, I'm sorry, of Futurama, when they go to the moon, and he's like, well, fuck this, I'm going to create my own amusement park on the moon. Except the thing is we didn't say fuck this and just give up. We actually made arrangements to protect ourselves financially in our golden years. And now you're pissed that we don't give a shit about Social Security, which is a socialist pyramid fucking scheme. Wow. And you're trying to scare boomers into voting Democrat with this shit. It's so funny. Oh my God. But anyway, so yeah, career in a because it threatened to kill the career of any politician who dared to touch it. And then the Gen X came along and said, we're not going to get it anyways. Fuck you. We know it. Not, it seems, any longer. Senators are seriously considering trying to arrange for the cutting or gutting of Social Security under the cover of the under the beer pandemic. This is an attack on multiple fronts. So they're literally trying to say that the insolvency issue, or he's trying to say, Brett here, that the insolvency issue with Social Security, that they're trying to use the pandemic to gut it when it's insolvent. Jesus Christ. And this guy's so dishonest, it's not even funny. But anyway, this is an attack on multiple fronts. It includes proposals to suspend or even eliminate the payroll tax on which Social Security depends, and arranging a secret, yes indeed, conference on Capitol Hill to find ways to save Social Security. Now here's the thing, asshole. Payroll tax doesn't pay for Social Security. Anyone who's ever worked a fucking job knows that, you dumb shit, because they can go and look at their pay stub, okay, and it literally has their Social Security deduction separate from payroll tax, you crack-smoking moron. You have to be high on crack, because anyone who's ever held a job can just look at a pay stub they've had and see that Social Security is separate from the payroll tax. I mean, I've got some fucking Trump deranged, like, acquaintances and friends that are fucking total retarded fucking spurgs, okay? And they even see the benefits of getting rid of the payroll tax. And you know what? They think he's a racist, a misogynist, all this other shit. And they've said if he got rid of the payroll tax, they would vote for him. They would ignore all that other shit and vote for him. Because they're not stupid, and they know that Social Security is collected separate from payroll tax. But you think boomers are fucking morons, the target audience that you're actually trying to scare here. They've got more fucking brains than you dumb shit. Or at least on average. They know that you're full of shit on payroll tax being part of paying for Social Security. Because they've worked for a living. They're not entitled millennials that live off of mommy and daddy. Jesus Christ. Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell wants this secret conference to be a condition of agreeing to any further economic rescue package. So basically, he wants to fix Social Security, and you got a problem with that. He's already on record calling for Social Security benefits to be adjusted because they need to be, because it's insolvent. But hey, fuck you. Suspending the payroll tax as a crisis measure won't help people out of work. What are you talking about? Suspending the payroll tax isn't going to help them. It's going to create jobs, because you're going to have businesses, okay, that are going to be able to create more jobs. Even during the pandemic, you're going to have people who have more money in their pockets that are going to go and stimulate the economy, and you don't think that's going to help the other people. You don't think that's going to make them want to go out and find an actual job? Oh, wait, that's what you're afraid of. Because if people can go out and find a job and make more money and not pay payroll taxes, okay, and get more money in their pocket, that's a win-win for Trump. And you don't want that. You're trying to scare people into voting Democrat. And you're doing a bad job at it here. Seriously. I mean, you're completely misrepresenting the situation here. That he wants to fucking stop them you're going from bankrupt. Suspending the payroll tax as a crisis measure won't help people out of work. How? How is that not going to help them by stimulating the economy, making it so that they can probably get a job? It's going to help them get a job. I just don't get that. But, all right, so anyway, but it will apparently make it even more needed to cut benefits down the road. Oops. No, it won't. That's just you talking out of your ass. That's you literally creating bullshit and calling it fact. It will surprise no one that this attempt to violate commitments made to American savers and future retirees is apparently to be called the Trust Act. And my British friends always say we Americans have no sense of irony. Well, here's the thing, asshole. Commitments made. You ain't calling out the Democrats who raided Social Security multiple times in my fucking lifetime. Don't get me wrong. You had the neocons involved in it too. Okay, well, the Democrats were doing it. But they fucking bankrupted the shit. They're the ones who put it in the situation it's in. But you don't want to call that out. You want people to vote for more of those same fucking idiots. So you're trying to scare them with Trump. Saying, oh, Orange Man going to fucking take away your Social Security. You think that boomers are that stupid? Boomers overwhelmingly voted for him, you dumb fuck. Unless they were fucking 50-something-year-old, 60-something. Well, sorry, boomers would be 60-something, wouldn't they? Well, no, technically 50, but in their 50s too. But you had fucking senior citizens that were never had kids, that never got married, that had 16 fucking cats voting for Hillary. Dumb shit. This forthcoming election may decide the fate of Social Security. The president has vowed to eliminate the payroll tax if he's reelected. So vote Creepy Uncle Joe! Creepy Uncle Joe! Senile old fuck! He'll save your Social Security. That's what this asshole's trying to imply. Just one thing. There is no Social Security crisis. It's completely made up. There's no financial crisis. There's no economic crisis. The only Social Security crisis is the crisis of people believing there's a Social Security crisis. No, there actually is a Social Security crisis. You're trying to lie about it. You're literally trying to say, well, what we're going to do is we're going to basically raise taxes and then we're going to pay for Social Security that way. Instead of looking at the fact that it was fucking bankrupted by overwhelmingly Democrats over the years, raiding it like it was a pension fund. And they were some fucking yuppie psychopathic fucks in the 80s and even the 90s. Because they went, oh, we'll just kick the can down the road. Well, that ain't working out for them. If anyone guts the program or slashes benefits, they are doing so through choice, not necessity. No, they're doing it through necessity. Because we're financially screwed as a country, and you want to basically raise taxes to cover for something that they fucking stole from, like, robbed completely, like, blind. Well, not blind, but robbed completely bare. Like, the cupboards are bare type shit. You are a fucking joke, dude. You want people to vote for the Democrats who fucking raided Social Security by scaring the boomers that they're not going to have their Social Security. Holy shit. The boomers watched them raid the fucking thing. And you're trying to scare them to get them to vote Democrat. That'll really work out for you. And it's not a necessity. It's bankrupt, but we shouldn't cut it. Okay. And they are choosing to slash an absolutely vital program that keeps millions out of poverty and has functioned successfully for 80 years. Excuse me? It hasn't functioned successfully for 80 years. It's a fucking Ponzi scheme that has barely managed to stay together, that hasn't managed to implode, because the Democrats, between their raiding it and expanding Social Security to people who never paid into it, have fucked it. Because, yeah, someone who went to the government and said, I'm a fucking Section 8, find some idiot to convince and gets Section 8, gets free fucking money, never paid into it. Well, boomers who paid in their whole fucking lives got fucked. Well, me, who's been paying in since I was 16. Now, I knew before that point that I wasn't going to get shit for Social Security. I knew it. Most Gen X knew it. And the thing is when I started paying in, you could get full at like 65. In my lifetime, they went, sorry, we've got to bump it up to this. I have to be like 10 years old. I have to be like something like 75 years old to get full fucking Social Security. So, dude, shut the fuck up. That shit came about, I believe, was that during Obama's shit when they raised it? Or was that Clinton's shit? But they raised the age. It might have been Clinton. Hell, it could have been Baby Bush. But they raised the age, and I've been paying in since I was 16. Don't you think I should be able to collect when the original date was, when I fucking started paying in? I don't care, personally, because I knew I wasn't going to get shit to begin with. And that's what you hate, is that people have realized that it's a fucking Ponzi scheme. And you're trying to use this to scare people. And this idea that it's kept people, that Social Security, okay, that has kept millions out of poverty. You're literally saying people need Social Security to live off of. It's a poverty fucking amount of money they're getting paid. But yet it keeps them out of poverty. How the hell do you even fucking convince people that you actually know what you're talking about when what you say is some of the stupidest shit on the planet? You're trying to say it keeps, like I just said, it keeps them out of poverty. But yet it's a poverty wage. If you look at it, it's a poverty retirement amount. Oh, and this guy thinks he's going to scare fucking boomers into voting. Democrat. Is there a problem with funding? Yes, of course there is. Yes, because it's bankrupt, but it's eminently fixable without draconian measures. So basically what you're saying is we should rob more money from people to pay for Social Security. That's a failed system. Good job. The most obvious is to get rid of the cap on taxable wages, so people pay the tax on everything they earn. So basically, he wants to tax the shit out of everyone to pay for Social Security. He's pushing Bernie fucking shit here. But there are plenty of others. Others include actually investing the Social Security Trust Fund in stocks, like almost every other pension plan on the planet. Oh yeah, so it can end up like what happened to everyone's pension during, I don't know, let's see, the 90s with Clinton offshoring shit, or when fucking, the after the Democrats and shit really removed Democrats and Republicans both removed the Glass-Steagall Act, and you had all the derivative shit, and people lost their lives and their fucking retirements and everything else. Yeah, that's real smart. Let's put Social Security into something like that. Not all of it should be in something like that, but I'm not against some of it being put into, say, long-term investments like blue chips that generally tend to stay stable. That I don't have a problem with. But putting the whole fucking thing like you want into the stock market, you got to be fucking smoking crack to think that's a good idea. How about instead, you may be invested in, say, like public works projects. Oh, highways need to be rebuilt. Okay, what you do is you use the money from Social Security to invest in these projects, and then you say make it a toll road. So you now have a toll highway paying back the money that came out of Social Security, okay, and paying interest on top of that. That would be a possibility, and it would improve the infrastructure of this country. That sounds like a good idea, doesn't it? Sounds better than your idea, you dumb shit. Fucking idiot. Trying to scare the boomers here. What an idiot. This guy's a fucking moron. The Social Security Administration trustees in their latest report said the so-called trust fund, well, it is a trust fund, basically, will run out by 2035. So basically, they're saying it's bankrupt, and you're going to try to play it down here. Watch. The technical term for that is insolvent. No, it's bankrupt. But that is a word being bandied around deliberately to scare people, because it's something to be scared about, because the fucking program is actually bankrupt. It's run out of fucking money. It's not supposed to be tax supported. See, this is what I don't get. Well, if they get rid of the payroll tax, it's going to fuck Social Security. The only way it would fuck Social Security is if you actually started using the payroll tax to prop up Social Security, which he later gets into. See, he's so dishonest that he leaves out the fact that, people pay in into their own SSI account, basically, and try to say, we can prop it up with this later on, saying payroll tax actually matters, and then later on going, we need it to prop it up. Well, then it doesn't affect it. It could. It just doesn't. You want it to. It just doesn't. Dishonest. I love this, but it's to deliberately scare people, because it doesn't mean insolvent in any normal meaning of the word. Yes, it does. Holy shit. Because it's a government program. He's trying to claim that insolvent doesn't mean insolvent because you can just pump taxpayer money into it. This guy is fucking smoking crack and cock. Or actually, he's probably smoking meth and then sucking cock. This guy's a fucking idiot. It just means that the trust fund, which is an internal accounting technique for the federal budget, will no longer have an accounting surplus. Money out will have to depend on money coming in. That's literally the definition of fucking insolvent. If you don't have the money to pay your fucking bills, asshole, you are insolvent. If Social Security does not have the money in the bank to pay its obligations, it is literally fucking insolvent. It is not on paper insolvent. It is not technically insolvent. It is literally insolvent. This guy's supposed to be an economist or some shit. He's a fucking idiot. The Social Security Administration says the unfunded obligations will equal 3% of taxable payroll. Trillions of dollars. Okay, that's a lot of fucking money here. But he goes, he acts like it's nothing. Congressional Research Service explains that from 2035 onward, without any changes, benefits could have to be cut 21% to balance the books. Yikes. Well, yeah, that's because the same Democrats you're trying to scare boomers into voting for, overwhelmingly, yes, neocons were involved, but overwhelmingly it was them, raided Social Security for every fucking penny they could. You dishonest piece of shit. But yet you want people to vote for these assholes who fucking raided it. Because, they'll save Social Security even though they killed it. Dude, you have to be fucking smoking meth, crack, or God only knows what else to fucking think that pushing this idea is a good one. But whenever policy wonks, or political journalists for that matter, write about these things, they seem to try to blind us all with science. Oh, but you're being the honest one. Okay. You're not trying to fucking conflate shit and confuse people with science. Okay. Sometimes they've seemed to find the biggest or most abstruse or complicated data possible. So they actually show data that backs up their shit. And you don't like that. You want it to be simple data that fucking doesn't back up their shit and backs up yours. That's not how it works. Budget and tax changes, for example, are generally discussed in terms of 10-year numbers because they sound so huge. No, they're discussed in 10-year numbers because that's usually how long things tend to work. But anyway, so let's cut through all the scary numbers around Social Security and just focus on these two items. The first is that the average Social Security benefit is just $15.14 a month. It's chicken feed. On this, people have to live out their golden years. Cutting this by 21% when you're slashing it to $1,200 a month, that's the average. Okay, well, first off, most people, except for the boomers, a lot of the boomers that you're trying to scare, they got stuck living on Social Security. They got fucked because of Bill Clinton. Okay? Making it possible for all these companies to offshore their shit and then raid their fucking pensions, asshole. But yet you want them to vote for the same fucking lunacy by voting for fucking creepy Uncle Joe. Jesus Christ. And most people aren't going to be living off of the $15.14 a month because they're going to have retirement. They're going to have saved up money. They're going to invest money. Imagine the humanitarian crisis in this country if that happens. Well, first off, in 15 years, I'll be close. It'll be fucking Gen X collecting Social Security. Most of Gen X was already under the impression they weren't going to get it. So they're already pretty safe. So fuck off, dude. You're trying to scare the boomers, but by the time this shit happens, it will be Gen X that will be collecting. And Gen X has overwhelmingly made sure they have pensions, have invested their money, have made sure they've got a nest egg. So your narrative here's a little bit bullshit, isn't it? The humanitarian crisis. Gen X, being the nihilists we are, fucking took care of that for you. But see, you want millennials to expect to get Social Security. You want them to be fucking socialist little shitbricks. You asshole. Oh my God. And here's the second gem, which can be found on page 16 of the latest trust fund report. The alleged funding gap, the so-called crisis, represents no more than 1% of GDP, increased from 0.9% in the last year's report, over the 75-year valuation period. 1%, that's the crisis. That's billions of dollars, you stupid fuck. Billions of dollars isn't a crisis? You cock-smoking, crack-smoking degenerate? Oh, it's just 1%. But you're leaving out the context of that 1% is literally billions of fucking dollars. God damn. Amen. Amen what? We were able to find a spare 1% of GDP for the 2017 tax cut. We were able to borrow 7 percentage points of GDP every single year to run budget deficits every year. So basically, you want us to go even further in debt to fund a fundamentally broken system that the Democrats, with neocons, overwhelmingly the Democrats were behind it though, raided it. Oh my God. They raid that thing, and holy shit, you want people to vote for them because, they'll save your Social Security. It wouldn't be in the situation if it was it. It wouldn't be in this situation if it wasn't for the fucking Democrats. But yet, you're trying to scare people away from Trump to vote for Democrats. You are a fucking idiot. You're a scumbag, dude. You want us to go even further in debt. How big a deal is 1% of GDP to the federal government? It's billions of dollars. Well, federal taxes were just 16.3% of GDP last year, according to White House numbers. And it still didn't cover our debt. The average under Ronald Reagan, over 1 full point higher. So we could fix this by just going back to the Reagan-era tax rates. You assholes would crucify fucking Reagan. But because this fucking creates your argument, having this like perception of being, reasonable, you want to fucking invoke Reagan's name. You probably think he's a fucking scumbag. You're a lefty, dude. Reagan created this idea back when America was beat. People have felt beat because of like what Yuri Bezmenov talked about by like beating down the people and shit. He fucking raised them back. He made Americans feel proud to be Americans. And you people hate that shit. When you're trying to get people to vote for Democrats like you are, by scaring them, you hate that fact. You hate Reagan, I'm sure. Asshole. And this next thing right here. The average during Bill Clinton's second term was a full 3 percentage points higher than today. And the economy boomed and the stock market soared. Well, actually, the economy didn't boom and the stock market really didn't soar. What you had happen is Bill Clinton opened the door with China, you sleazy rewriting history piece of shit, for all these companies to go to China, which propped up the stock market because all these companies looked like they were making money hand over fist because you had like the bigwig investors going, well, shit, they've got fucking slave Chinese labor. Their costs have gone down. Their profits have gone up. The average American got totally tattooed and fucking screwed by that. Okay, I know people who got fucked because of Ma Bell AT&T, not this SBC AT&T shit. I know people who got royally fucked because of the Ma Bell Lucent fucking fiasco. Okay, a lot of people do. All right, you have people who know people with all these fucking companies that got fucked with the outsourcing and foreign interests buying them and shit like that. Okay, so shut the fuck up. I've met people from around the country that were fucked by outsourcing. AT&T, Ma Bell being one of them, okay? And what's funny is Bill Clinton, you're talking about the great guy here, okay? He basically made it so that AT&T got fucked financially, okay? He was one of the reasons why Lucent got spun off because, how do I put this? Bill Clinton did not like the fact that when his administration tried to standardize all phone switching equipment so that they could tap it without having to physically go to a location and put a wiretap on it. This was even with the digital age. They still wanted that. AT&T wanted that. Ma Bell AT&T actually wanted to make it so that they couldn't do that. So they couldn't just illegally spy on Americans, that they would actually be the gatekeepers. Bill Clinton didn't like that. Next thing you know, a couple of years later, Bill Clinton's done some things that totally fucked him, made him so that they had to spin off fucking Ma Bell, like Lucent, all this other shit. And you're trying to make him sound like he's a good fucking guy, that he did well for this country? He helped to get a company to destroy to where one of the baby bells was able to fucking buy it. Because they dared to stand up to him, being able to illegally fucking wiretap on people. That story never gets much publicity. Okay? But go and ask anyone who worked for AT&T Tech, Ma Bell AT&T Tech, okay, about back in those days. What happened? Ma Bell AT&T, not SBC AT&T, paid the price for standing up for Americans' rights to privacy. And then when it got spun off to Lucent, they ousted the people that were from AT&T, Tech, Lucent, okay? They ousted the people that were against that shit. And then they fucking allowed people to embezzle and shit like that. And they milked the company for everything until it was sold to a French company. And that was courtesy of Bill Clinton. So don't try to portray it like Bill Clinton had the economy going good and everything else. He was helping them fuck over companies because they went against his shit. He helped China rape this country of most of its manufacturing, okay, and allowed for them and enabled for them to steal intellectual property. So Bill Clinton ain't the good guy that you're talking about, shitbrick. I love revisionist history that these assholes come up with. According to Statista, we found that 13% of GDP just this year to pay for, we found 13% of GDP just this year to pay for pandemic and lockdowns. Yeah. And you think that actually somehow relates to what you're talking about? No, it doesn't. Nice conflation, though. And apparently, we are able to print that money without unleashing inflation on budget panic. Actually, yeah, asshole. Inflation is going to happen. Quite the reverse. Actually, long-term interest rates have collapsed. So because interest rates are down, because they're trying to keep the economy going, you don't think inflation's going to happen? That is like the stupidest fucking thing. That's like someone who has absolutely no clue about economics would say. That's something they would say that has no clue at economics. Well, the interest rates are low, so there isn't going to be any inflation. Dude, how the fuck are you even like some guy speaking about economics? You clearly have no clue, but somehow you're a financial writer? This is some fucked up shit. The only crisis facing Social Security is that more and more people under 65 are being convinced that the program will have to be gutted, so they shouldn't plan for it. And that lays the groundwork for the cuts. It's a perfect circular argument. How? Hey, asshole. It's a fact. When I am in my teenage years, when I am literally a fucking teenager, before I'm even in the workforce, being told Social Security will be bankrupt before I'm able to collect. How is it circular fucking logic? Okay, or a circular argument that it's being said now when it was said fucking, we'll say, oh shit, we'll say over 30 years ago, because I'm 45, we'll say 32, 33 years ago, when I'm being told that 33 years ago, they weren't even planning for this back then. So your argument is complete bullshit. Jesus Christ, these people are idiots. He's trying to scare people to vote Democrat with this. Oh my, and he thinks it's going to work. But $1,500 a month and 1% of GDP. Things to remember. Next time someone tries to tell you there's a Social Security crisis, 1% of GDP is literally billions of dollars, dumb fuck. Billions. Not millions. Billions. But you wanted to put in the idea of 1% of GDP, because that way it looks so tiny and small and insignificant. But when you say, yeah, it's billions of dollars in the red, and that 1% of GDP covering it would be billions of dollars, people wake the fuck up. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm leaving things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.